What'd you do?
Oh no.
I made the hotkey to record in OBS R.
Yes. Like most people.
Which also happens to be the hotkey in Pro Tools for zoom out.
Oh. So my man just hit the massive zoom out on himself.
Anyway, we're going.
All right, cool. Man, oh man, oh man. I don't mean to scream into the microphone, but shit, it is time. We are here.
I was on the wrong camera. Start again.
I could host.
No.
Oh.
Listen here. I had this whole grand introduction, and he proceeded to tell me we were on the wrong camera, but now we are on my camera.
Just start again, dude.
No, it's gone. I had this whole grand introduction, but welcome.
Right, I'll stop the fucking recording.
No, it's too late. It's too late. We're here now. We are here.
You're driving me insane, dude. Fucking do it.
I am. Listen. Welcome to the Huey Show number 13. It is your boy Huey. As you can see, we have video.
Yeah, we made it.
You can see me. I'm looking right at y'all. We got good old Derrick here.
Yep.
Live and in color. Live and in the flesh. Well, I would say live and pasty, but that's a little rude.
Well, that's only half of us.
Yeah, that's true. Live and in color. So, like I said, I told y'all there was going to be steps to this, and we have stepped.
Yeah.
But, like I said, welcome to the show. And we will get into this, but let's just get this shit going. So me and Derrick have had multiple conversations about what has been going on within the NFL. So this is going to be a very NFL heavy show. Kirk Cousins, he has gone to the Falcons, right? If you want me to start, you want to go?
You go ahead.
Okay. Now listen, Kirk Cousins, he got. Let me pull him up real quick.
4 years, 180?
4 years, 180, leaving the Vikings after, unfortunately tearing his ACL on the field. Non-contact, I believe. I don't think anybody hit him. I don't think. I think he was just rolling back in the pocket.
Yeah, he was getting hit a lot.
He was getting hit, but I don't think this one was.
I think that specific play, he just stepped wrong.
Yeah, he just stepped wrong. So, like I said before, 180, 4 years, 35. Now, here's the thing. I have no problem with Kirk Cousins. Kurt Bling Cousins. Kurt Rock the Chain Cousins.
Kurt Cole's Cash Cousins.
Yeah. I mean, Kirk, you like that Cousins. I have no issue with him. But in terms of age, now, we have seen QBs that are older. Or, with Rodgers, we're going to see how he looks when he comes. Even I think his was an Achilles, not ACL.
Yeah.
But generally, Achilles can sometimes be worse than in the ACL sometimes. But regardless, I don't think they should have gave him 4 years, 180.
No, I actually like the deal. I disagree. I think he's been one of those guys consistently
good, but hasn't done nothing.
Well, he's done a lot. That franchise is iffy. The Vikings franchise.
Every franchise he's been a part of has been iffy.
You're right. He started with Washington.
Iffy.
Which was, that whole franchise needed to be sold.
But he did ball out that 1 year. He was going crazy that
exactly.
1 year.
That's where we got the you like that.
Yeah.
He started at the ground level. Mm-hmm. I think his story is one of those great stories. Mm-hmm. He started as, this is the guy that the coach wanted, but we needed RG3. Mm-hmm. And then because of all the politics, we're starting RG3, even though it was kind of in the air. Mm-hmm. And then, from there, he became the starter at Washington, and then they didn't want to give him a deal. Goes to Minnesota, balls out again, and now he reached the end of that contract, and it's like, well, I'm going to go ball for Atlanta now. Mm. And I think he will, honestly.
Well, no, he didn't get signed to the because I had thought he had gotten signed to it. I thought he not signed. I thought he got franchise tag, but he didn't get franchise tag. He got franchise tag twice with Washington. He actually, he didn't get franchise tag this time. I don't think. I can always double check.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're gonna do at Minnesota.
And that's what I'm saying. So yeah, they did not franchise tag him. Let me just double check so that nobody can say you guys don't do your research.
I think the thing with the Vikings,
they didn't.
If they think that Kirk Cousins was holding them back, I saw the games with the Pasternak and the other backup that they had.
Mm-hmm.
That whole team needs some work.
Yes.
They have a few decent targets. They got the guy from Detroit, but they're not there yet. They're probably going to either trade up in the draft or try to get someone else that's going to step up and maybe be their new quarterback. But as of right now, they're SOL.
Listen, I'm not nice like Derrick. I have no listen from this. This is from my point of view. Hey, listen, get your money. That's rule number one. I'm never going to sit here and tell somebody to take less of a contract because they're 35 coming off an ACL. By the end of the day, you are valued based upon what somebody else sees you as. So somebody walked into the Falcons, sat down at the meeting, and said, "You know who we can get? Kirk Cousins. We can get Kirk Cousins for 180." That's what somebody said. Yeah. So from a player standpoint, Kirk, you got your bag. No hate on my end. I completely agree. But this is my perspective, and some people might disagree, and that's all right. I think when it comes down to spending $180 million for year 35, I felt like they could have got somebody younger.
But then who are you gonna get?
I mean, all right, so let's see.
Like, Fields is always on the table. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if he's better than Cousins.
I mean, you'd have to trade for him, but at this point, you have the pieces already. So you're losing draft picks to get Fields, who has shown to be competent on the Bears. It's just the Bears organization hasn't been competent.
I think Fields still needs some work. I think a lot of people... I think there's always a chance for someone to be a Geno Smith, if that makes sense, where you got your chance, air quotes, but you were playing for the Bears, the Jets,
They could also got Russell.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to do great either.
But what I'm saying is for the 1 year.
Yeah.
See how it goes, and then if it goes really well, all right, you give him some more. And Russell's younger, not coming off the injury.
Is Russell younger?
He should be, unless I'm mistaken.
I know it's close.
Actually the same age.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty, because Kirk's 35. Let me look up Kirk Cousins' age. It would be by months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
they're the same age at that point.
Pretty much, yeah, same. Russell's 3 or 4 months older.
Russell still has to prove himself, though.
But I mean, Russell has proven himself.
Nah,
I mean, if we're looking, well, what has Kirk Cousins done? League wise,
overall, the whole career, yes. But I think Kirk in the past,
I mean, Russ wasn't too far from making the playoffs. He wasn't.
But in those games with the Broncos that he played, those numbers lied. There's a reason why his passer rating was in the hundreds, but his QBR was in the 30s. He had games where he did throw well. He did, certain things well. He was able to scramble. But where, at least from what I saw, I think he's lacking more in the tempo and everything like that, making those on-time throws instead of making those wacky plays. It's great that you can scramble and throw the ball to a random guy that happens to get open, but you need to be able to make those progressions. And I think that's kind of, I guess we'll get there now. That's the thing with, Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. Payton likes having the tempo throws. Not that Drew Brees never made an off-tempo pass, but that was his bread and butter. And I think that's what the Broncos are looking for, whether it's in the draft or they trade for someone or whatever. We need a tempo guy. Russell is not a tempo guy. And I think if a team builds off of that, then they can succeed with him. But even then, I'm not sure if he's better than, Kirk or Rodgers or whoever else gets signed. Probably better than Gardner Minshew, though, if I had to pick.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though, right? And this was the question that I was thinking of when you were speaking. Would you rather somebody who's coming off of a relatively skeptical year, or someone who's coming off a torn ACL?
Personally, the reason I would have taken Russ would be because the Broncos are paying for it. That's the only reason I would pick Russ. But I think if I was investing in a new starting quarterback for multiple years, I would pick Kirk.
Because while you were speaking, I was looking up Kirk Cousins' injury history because I didn't know.
Yeah.
So he hasn't been injured since 2009. So so he doesn't have, let's say, like a numerous or multiple injuries. So that's one good thing.
Yeah.
But 35 ACL. I mean, modern medicine has thankfully made it to where an ACL isn't a career ender anymore.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if I'm looking at the options, let me pull up Kirk Cousins. This is just his overall accolades. This is not,
not everything single stat down to the
So Kirk Cousins has 3 Pro Bowls, ranks 3rd in the Vikings all-time passing yards, ranks 5th all-time in completion percentage with at least 1,500 pass attempts, and is 8th in the NFL's all-time regular season career passer rating. So let's be very, very clear. Kirk Cousins isn't no bum.
Not at all.
He's not this lower end. I would consider him to be a upper end kind of guy to where you bring onto your team if you have a solidified wide receiver core or a solidified offense. He's the perfect guy you bring in. But the question is, though, would you prefer that over Russell, rings, playoff, more playoff experience, more Super Bowl experience? He's probably been to as many Pro Bowls as Kirk. Let's check. Instead of assuming.
Yeah, I think that I don't think there's a wrong choice between the two, honestly. I think everything you could say tit for tat about, what's good with Kirk, what's bad with Russ. I think if I was the Falcons, the way I would look at it is, who do I think is going to come in, show up, and be great? I think...
Off the ACL, though, you think he's going to come back and be great?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean...
Over what
Russell, who's not coming off one?
Over what Russ went through.
Yeah, but...
He went a couple years with Pete Carroll, where nothing was meshing, and then went to Denver that first year with Hackett, who was just not a great coach. And that...
Well, people could say that could be also one of the good things, that he didn't have a good coach the first 2, right? Because Hackett was there for 1 season.
No, he was only there. He was there the first season. Russ was there. Russ was only there 2 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he was there
the
that one.
The second season, you had Sean Payton, which wasn't
his guy, so that didn't help.
It wasn't that he was a bad coach. It was more of a clash of
football ideologies, football systems.
And then maybe the Falcons are a better fit for that. Maybe the Steelers are. You saying a whole
bunch of maybes for things that are factual now at this point.
Well, no. What's a better fit? I'm always going to say maybe.
Okay. No, I'm talking about his past. That's not a maybe. That happened.
Oh no. That's objective. What I'm saying is Pittsburgh a better fit for him? Is Atlanta a better pick for him? Maybe. It could go either way.
Me personally, I mean, Pittsburgh I think has the better overall defense. Because the Steelers always have a pretty solid defense.
Oh, yeah.
But offense-wise, right now, you probably it's going to go to Atlanta because Atlanta has the running back, Bijan. How do you say his name?
Bijan Robinson?
Yeah, yep. Bijan. The wide receiver core is pretty good. Hey, listen, that's not my team, so I can't remember.
Same way.
Robinson, Pitts, who's the tight end, London had a pretty good year. Like I said, Van Jefferson, even though he's coming from the Rams, like I said, so it's not the worst thing in the world. So like I said, I think in terms of it all depended upon what did he want to be a part of somebody who can score and maybe not defend that well, or did he want to be a part of people that could do both?
Yeah,
that could do a mix of both.
And I think the Steelers, which is kind of their offense had to go through whatever the hell Matt Canada was.
Austin Mack, who's also having an all right year over there too, I think.
You know, I think for the Steelers, picking up Russ was really good for them because now they can pick up an OC. I'm not sure if they already picked up an OC yet.
Who, the Falcons?
No, the Steelers.
I don't think they have. I can check.
But the Steelers still have to. They have to basically rebuild the offense.
Arthur Smith has been named. Oh,
that name does sound familiar. I don't remember.
Let me see. Hold on. This is from 2024. So unless they fired him, I don't think they did though. Yeah. Arthur Smith is the offensive coordinator for them.
But I think I thought that they were gonna keep what's his name, Kenny Pickett. But then apparently he made some comments or whatever about how he didn't really want the heat. He didn't want to compete for the starting job, so they sent him to
yeah, because you gotta think about it like this: when you go from QB1 to all of a sudden now you're competing, and you felt like you thought you were gonna have more time, or maybe that's just how he felt. I don't know what it was. Maybe you felt you were gonna have more time to get. I mean, there's only so much time you can have. You have 16 seasons or 16 games to figure it out. But
at the same time, he played. I forget how many games under Matt Canada before he got canned. And then he started playing pretty well with the new guy before he got injured. So I don't, it's not that, you know, obviously at a certain point it's a business, but he didn't get like a full swing, I'll say. You know, he was part of the team. He did a lot of good stuff. But at the end of the day, I understand why they're moving on and picking up a veteran over keeping Kenny Pickett, which I think is more of a project. Even though I think Russell might be a little bit of a project to get him back to where he was, you know, Pickett's, you're starting at the base level and you have to build back up from there, whether it's a confidence thing or, you know, making sure he's seeing his progressions, just like the slow rebuild, which I think he might be better off doing that as a backup. You know, whether he makes it to being a starter again or not, that's a different question.
You do listen. You do look over there sometimes now. There, okay. You don't have to do it all the time, but sometimes now. But no, I do understand what you're saying. In terms of Pickett, I mean, I just don't think anybody wants to be relegated, especially when you know the talent that's coming in is a solidified talent. Like, you have been here and have been trying to get right. But now they're bringing in somebody who has gotten right, who's been to the promised land and won. Yeah. And also lost.
He still went to the promised land twice.
Yeah. So, you know, I can understand him wanting to be out. Me personally, I would have went to a place to where I knew for a fact I would be competing for QB1. Like, I know Tennessee's looking right now.
Well, I think he was traded. I'm not sure if he had a choice in the matter, you know?
Well, I think he because he went in there saying I wanted to be traded, so he had no choice.
Well, yeah, to be traded, but to where, I think that was just go here. Yeah,
he kind of had no choice. But regardless, like I said, going back to the original point, I would have done like $100 million for 4 years. I wouldn't have done 180. Listen, this is just me personally. What I would have done. I'm happy he's got his money. Him in that NFL doc with all the QBs in it. Yeah. That was a great doc. That actually gave me more respect for him. Because if you see the hits he takes sometimes, and you hear his, all right, we're gonna run this play, and then let's say the play doesn't go well or whatever. Now if it goes well, he's but when it's fourth down and they're walking over here, and then he sits down, he's like, he got me in the ribs, but like I said, not at 35 and not coming off the ACL. I get modern medicine, but I would either went for what's his face. I would have went for Fields, just see how it goes, or Russell, give him the 1 year min, and move on.
I think at this point it makes sense. Like I think the Bears could still pick up a quarterback in the draft, but
but you can't keep Fields and then pick up what's his face in the draft.
Why not?
No, that's not gonna work.
Because he's on his fourth year, right? So it's not even like a discussion of a fifth year option.
No, but here's the thing. Generally, you have 3 years. That's one. Now, he's proven himself to be capable within those 3 years, so that's why he's on his fourth. Yeah. But you only get 3. Second of all, 9 times out of 10. Second of all, this is the second point. I had a blank.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, I think he's fed up with that organization overall.
Yeah, that's fair too.
He's just tired of it. We heard about that situation with the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Getting into that thing to where the police had to go into the house or whatever. You have like I said, you got that going on. I think he's fed up with that. Just the team he likes, the people in the front office, I don't think he likes.
Yeah,
and I don't think he likes people on the coaching staff either.
I think the problem right now for him specifically is you had Russell moving around. You had a bunch of the higher level quarterbacks moving around, and then you have this amazing quarterback draft class as well coming in
with 4.
Yeah.
4 of them coming out.
Depending on who you look at, it's like 4 to 6 guys.
And that depends on what you want. Yeah, that's the thing.
And there's still teams out there like the Broncos still need a quarterback.
Okay, so then would you take Fields on the Broncos?
No.
Okay, why? Don't just say no. There has to be a reason why.
I think he's a similar quarterback to Russ.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's more user legs, get the ball out.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say I've watched his game enough to see how he is with the progressions and the tempo.
His one thing has been his because sometimes he's very he's like a younger Lamar.
Yeah.
You could see sometimes he'll hesitate to throw and then he'll just run.
Yeah.
When there could have been somebody that he could just check it down to, like I said, a younger Lamar.
Okay. Yeah.
Who had that same problem. He wouldn't check down. He would just run it. Which is why Fields is always in the injury report.
The thing is, Lamar definitely has that arm.
That has been questioned numerous times. Though.
When I look at Russ, I see he's great on his feet.
And Russ has an arm.
He has a decent arm. I think Lamar has a good arm.
Mm-hmm.
I think Lamar is much better than both of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's because of his ability to use both his legs and the passing game.
Mm-hmm.
I think Russell is more of, off tempo, but also using his legs, and he has a decent arm, but sometimes the timing or the location.
That just sounds like Lamar.
I think Lamar is a better version of Russ. Or maybe it's just that.
A lot now.
Or maybe it's just that he's a younger version of Russ.
Yeah,
so comparing their games 1-to-1 same year is kind of, it's not right. Maybe Russ when he first started out was a bit rusty, then hit his prime, got the Super Bowl ring, the Super Bowl loss, and now he's kind of, I don't want to say completely on the downturn, but Lamar is definitely still progressing.
You wasn't saying all this when he was on your team. That's all I'm saying. But that's all right.
I'm a little salty.
That's all right. He wasn't speaking
I'll
like this.
I'll put my cards on the table. I don't like him anymore.
We got to give Russ more time. We got to give him some more. Let him adjust to the system.
Yeah.
That's what he was saying this whole time.
And nowadays, that system didn't work for him. Neither system.
He still had 2 more years on his contract. They just let him. No.
Yeah. 2 more years.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it.
He said 2 more years, so he could have had some more time now, but they chose to let him walk.
I think that's more so because of what I was saying before with how he doesn't mesh with Sean Payton's build. I'll say, I think he wants the tempo. He wants the perfect passes. He wants a Peyton Manning, a Tom Brady, not necessarily a Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson. And if he did have a guy like that, he would probably still build the game plan around perfect passing, which I don't think is something that Russ, not that he can't throw a perfect pass, but I think his strengths are more in the off-tempo scenarios.
Mm-hmm. All right, listen. Solo on me. Yeah, no, he's on his own with that one. He's bugging out. I mean, listen. I hear what you're saying. Lamar is kind of like a mix of Russ, Mike Vick, Cunningham. But to say, I've seen too many clips of Russell and Aaron, because those are the main guys that do it. Him scram out the pocket and heaving that bitch down the field. And it's pretty point on. I mean, it's not perfect.
Oh no, it's not the.
But to compare, because I mean, I've seen Lamar throw some questionable ones that are way like.
That's fair.
And they all do have that. Let's not pretend like as if they all don't have questionable throws. Sometimes the way it's like, what did you see?
Yeah.
I mean, it happened. But in terms of arm power, I don't know about that. I think me personally, Russell has the better arm strength.
Over Lamar.
To me personally.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, I there's been too many footballs that I've seen him throw, and him and Aaron. I think Aaron has a better arm strength than both of them.
Yeah.
But there's been too many to where I'm like, he threw that bitch running backwards, running to the left, going cross body, and threw it, and the motherfucker, and it's not. It might be a little short. Let's say he might have to turn around.
Yeah.
And catch it, but it's still there. I've seen Lamar, as much as I love Lamar, I've seen him throw that ball and the motherfucker has to stop and cut back and get to it.
Yeah.
And there's no disrespect to him because Lamar's still a great talent.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, I don't know about saying that Lamar, I wouldn't say Russell or Lamar has a better arm. Overall talent, yes, I can rock with you on that. But arm strength, I would give that to Russell.
It not necessarily arm strength. Because I'm actually not too sure about that. I think that it's more of the conciseness in the, like, a generic football throw. You get the ball, you go through your progressions, you throw the ball. With Russell, there's been so many circumstances in Broncos games where he's not going through the progressions. Someone's wide open and he completely misses them and goes for the ball that's in the corner with three defenders around Cortland Sutton.
Now, mind you guys, I was telling him all of this while this was happening with the Broncos. And he said, well, there was a few throws. This is when there was a few throws that were pretty good during that game if you watch that whole game.
We're comparing.
You know what I'm saying?
Now we're comparing with other people and it's over and Russell Wilson is not going to happen for Denver.
Because he's not on his team anymore.
Yeah, 100%. I will back up my team.
Okay, I'm not listening.
That's part of being on the team, you know.
Yeah, but you also got to be realistic now.
Sure.
I'm a Giants fan, a Knicks fan, but I can tell you right now, them signing DJ to that contract. You heard me talk about numerous times. That was a bad contract. When they first signed it, I said that's a bad contract.
That was a bad contract because he went from a bad year to a decent year with playoff wins.
That's because of somebody was on that field more often.
It was a playoff win, right?
Yeah.
Just okay.
Yeah, they went to second round. They got the hands put on them.
It happens.
Yeah, it'd be like that.
But he didn't. I think Saquon earned it more than
he did
DJ
more than earn it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he did more than earn it.
Yeah.
But getting past the Kirk Cousins and Fields, even though the Fields is still with the Bears, they have signed Keenan Allen.
Yeah, I saw that.
So now people are wondering, what is the plan? If you're getting rid of Fields and you're bringing Keenan Allen in, that means you're drafting a QB, and we all know which one that's going to be. What's his face from USC?
Oh, Caleb Williams. Yeah.
So or are you planning on keeping Fields, having them compete for the job, and then whoever doesn't win out, you trade? Because there's no way you can have two QB1s on the same team.
To be fair, there's a lot of chances during the season for Fields to get dealt. You know, like
yeah, but I don't think that's gonna lead to a good locker room, especially with how Caleb Williams is coming in. I mean,
that's true.
Caleb Williams he said straight up if he could, because I think there's legal reason as to why they can't. He said the team I get drafted by, I want to have stock. Which I don't think you can do as a player. I don't think you can have a percentage.
I heard that, yeah,
I don't think, which could be wrong. I could have seen that on a quote that wasn't true.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But that was one of the stipulations. I don't know how true that is. As we all know, if you're playing for the NFL, you cannot have a percentage in ownership. That is a part of the contract that I did actually read up on.
Okay.
So, like I said, that could not be true. But like, what is the plans with Fields? Because he could go to the Broncos, like you said. He could even come to my Giants. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it.
I don't see the Giants.
I don't see them either.
As much as I said after he got the contract that he needs like another year to like prove it. I still think he needs another year to show that last year was a fluke.
Well, I just think the problem with him, one, he's a scrambling QB, so they're always hurt.
Mm-hmm.
That's one. He's had times where he looks great. Oh, there's a reason as to why Chicago Bears drafted him where they did. And other times you're like, he could have easily been a 5th round.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I do get it, but where do you think he could fit in your eyes relatively?
I don't think he would fit into the Broncos. I think he could make it there. I'm not sure if that would be a perfect fit though. But I'm also not sure what's because of him and what's because of the Bears. Because they're infamous with quarterbacks. Like I don't think I can name a single, like I could probably name a Hall of Fame quarterback on every team. You know, except for maybe new teams like Jacksonville, Tennessee Titans, you know, but I don't think I can name a next level quarterback that was on the Bears.
See, when you were before we came here, right? I had the now I'll be very honest with y'all, right? The podcast was kind of like a 3 or 4 day before, so I had been looking for topics already up to that point. Now I had these set teams to get Fields.
Oh, okay.
Now this is also on a list too, but they just happen to agree with most of the teams I had on here. So some of the teams that he had been expected to go to, which have now probably been canceled because they just got QBs.
Yeah.
Atlanta Falcons, the Raiders just signed Gardner Minshew, which he could.
I could actually see them still taking Fields.
I don't, unless they trade Gardner, he's not playing backup. You don't go from QB1 to QB2 like that.
That's
especially
true.
when you had a pretty all right season a few times. You're not going to want to give that up.
He was okay last year too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
You're not going to want to give that up. You're not. I'm not.
I'm just trying to think of more teams.
Oh, Pittsburgh Steelers signed
Yep.
Russell. Tampa Bay Buccaneers re-signed Baker Mayfield.
Yep.
Minnesota Vikings, which he could still go to.
I could see. Yeah. Yep.
Because they only signed Sam Darnold.
Yeah, he's not starting. No way.
But I was trying to think of more teams, but the other teams already kind of have a QB. Jackson Jaguars just signed what's his face, so they have
He
a
could go to the
backup.
Titans.
Titans, he could go there too, but they don't really have no pieces for him.
Yeah.
I think it would be another Bears,
But
with a better organization.
Yeah, I think if we're looking for like the best deal for him, you're probably looking at the Vikings. If he wants to go in, start, and prove that he's a way better quarterback than he was on the Bears. But at the same time, I could see him ending up at Tennessee.
Also Patriots.
Patriots, yeah. Maybe I keep thinking of teams where he could back up, but I don't.
No, because here's the thing, right? This is where competition. This is where that comes into it. I don't think any QB is gonna want to go to another market or another team to where they have to fight for the QB1 spot that they already had.
Yeah.
Unless the other person on the other side is like a Russell Wilson, to where there's rings involved, there's playoff experience, that can be a little bit more difficult.
That would be insane.
Yeah,
because I do think Fields and Russ are very similar.
Yeah.
So if they both make it to Pittsburgh,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah, I could see that.
Like I said, I don't think there's too many people that would want to deal with that, especially nowadays, to where football players are starting to get more and more freedom. They're starting to get more money.
Yeah.
There's more guaranteed money now starting to be placed around. Before, you would only get maybe 1 to 3.
Yeah.
Guaranteed contracts. Now you're starting to get like now the linemen are starting to get guaranteed money now. Which I thought would never happen. Trying to think.
It's really just running backs that are getting screwed.
Safeties, yeah.
Although Saquon got a lot of guaranteed.
Yeah, but his was what? I don't think his contract was big. Like, it was big because of the guaranteed money, but
I think
not
it was
because
20
of,
mil.
Yeah, it's I'll tell you right now. Saquon Barkley's contract.
2-year, 20 mil.
Oh, okay, that's
Lock
the
it in.
Giants. 3 years.
Damn it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the guaranteed money that's blowing a lot of people away, not the actual contract size. Which, to be
15?
fair, there's not going to be too many people that are going to get that contract unless you're a QB or, like I said, like a guard, like a left guard or something like that. You're not really going to get that big of a contract. I don't like as to how I'm on the Philadelphia Eagles and I can't find the money that's actually involved.
I do think that
Where's the money at?
with running backs as a whole, guaranteed money isn't usually on the table. but I do think Saquon is kind of the exception to the rule.
3 years, $37.75 million contract with $26 million guaranteed.
Okay, I'm not sure anymore.
That's why I'm saying. I mean, it's not that big of a contract in the grand scheme. It's the guaranteed money.
It's a lot for a running back.
It's a lot for now.
Yeah, I think.
But a signing bonus of $11 million, fully guaranteed, is $26 million. Everything else outside of that can be lost. So really, he's only guaranteed. So yeah, he's making $3 million 2024. $13 million 2025, $15 million 2026, and then 2027 he's making $4 million.
Yeah.
So in the grand scheme of things, it's not a big contract, but that guaranteed money is what people are looking at.
It is a relatively big contract for a running back,
especially in this era.
Yeah, I think this era, it's always, we'll just get someone from the draft and underpay them, and then once they're due, we'll trade them again.
In saying this, right? In saying this, Chris Jones. Now he is coming off. Let's be fair. I will be fair to the Eagles. He's coming off a ring run. Mm-hmm. Chris Jones off of Kansas City, 5 years, $160 million.
Yeah.
Defensive lineman. Justin. I can't say that last name. Mudu. I can't say that. I apologize. Defensive lineman, 4 years, $98 million. Edge, 2 years, $49 million. 48 or Danielle Hunter, edge rusher, 2 years, $49 million, $48 million guaranteed.
I do think the Eagles right now are definitely, I don't want to say short-sighted, but they are one of those teams that's at the ridge. They are almost there.
Cornerback, Jalen Johnson, 4 years, $76 million. Nothing guaranteed though. Brian Burns. Now, to be fair, this guy has made Pro Bowls. He's not no scrub. So I can't necessarily say that, but 5 years, $150 million. Traded to the Giants. Edge rusher. Now, like I said, he's not no scrub.
No.
So he is kind of earned that. But just using as reference, there are other positions that are getting more guaranteed money.
Oh, yeah.
So I still do think that, me personally, he should have at least a $60 million contract, $30 million guaranteed, me personally. And this is a Giants fan.
Saquon?
Yeah.
$30 million guaranteed?
I think so.
For a running back. I think that's where...
Because that same running back brought the Giants to the playoffs.
Yes, but I think that kind of falls into the more... the shelf life of running backs.
Oh, I agree.
I think there's Frank Gore, Adrian Peterson, and maybe like 2 or 3.
That's why I said 3 years, not 4. I wouldn't give him the 5. Like, I'm not giving him 5 years. No disrespect. I'm not giving him the 5 years that what's his face got. I'm not giving him 5 years, $160 million like Chris Jones.
Oh yeah.
I'm not giving him 4 years, $98 million like they did for Justin. I'm not giving him who else is here? 4 years, $76 million for Jalen Johnson. I'm not giving him that. But if a edge rusher, Danielle Hunter, can get 2 years, $49 million, $48 million guaranteed from the Texans,
yeah,
I'm not hearing that.
I would still say that I disagree with it personally. I do think running backs are super important, and probably my favorite position to watch, being someone that loves Terrell Davis. I've gone back and watched his videos millions of times.
Also, another point, Josh Jacobs, running back, 4 years, $48 million.
I still think that's not a great deal.
Now, mind you, there's no guaranteed money in that. So let's keep that in mind.
I think the problem with paying running backs either a lot. I think the perfect running back deal is top heavy. Is Saquon Barkley going to make it? You said 3 years.
Yeah.
Is he going to make it to a 4th year? As a running back, he could.
Like I said, we have had those outliers of running backs that for some reason just stay really long for no reason.
But I'm not putting money on it. I think that's where I draw that. It's like I like him. I think he's great. I think he's one of those Hall of Fame level running backs.
But I will give you this though. I will give you this. He is 27.
Yeah.
So 30 is like that's when you really start to see them go down their down tilt.
Yeah, and depending on
So.
the running back, you don't make it to 28 on the field.
Yeah, but I can see him making it 28.
I see him as being one of the exceptions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if he wasn't a running back, just the athleticism that he shows,
Mm-hmm.
He is one of those guys, whatever he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, thinking, oh yeah, he might make it to 30,
Mm-hmm.
and like, oh, he's gonna make it to 30.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's two separate lines of thinking.
Mm-hmm. Now we are gonna get back to Saquon, but I do want to bring this up so that we can discuss it, so that you can have your moment to shine.
Oh no.
Broncos let Russell walk
Yeah.
and sign vet men with Steelers.
Yeah.
1 year. Listen, me personally, and we have had this conversation in tech. I'd rather trade him, let the draft picks go, because realistically, I don't see y'all winning right away. Let the draft picks go and trade that motherfucker, so at least you can get something back and you can sign somebody.
The way I see it,
Because that's a lot. That's an $80 million.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to be in striking distance of a Super Bowl, I'll say.
$53 million against the Broncos Denver salary cap and $32 million in 2025.
Yeah, I think
That's a lot.
in an ideal situation, we would have been able to trade him away.
Mm-hmm.
But I think one of the allures of the Steelers picking him up was, we don't have to pay him.
Mm-hmm.
We have to give him vet minimum, and then the Broncos are going to suffer for 2 years.
But that's why. But I think a lot of teams were trying to do that. Me personally, I'm not gonna lie. If knowing that, if I'm Walmart, I'm the ownership.
Mm-hmm.
You can sold on me. Hey, listen. You know what? We might be Walmart.
Yeah.
We might be Wally World. We might have a lot of places. We might have a lot of stores everywhere. But Sean Payton, you gonna have to deal with that. You gonna have to deal with that. I'm not paying
that's where
that.
it kind of separates. Is do you invest on the Sean Payton project, or do you keep going with the Russell Wilson project?
Me personally, to that question, who came first? Russell? Hey, Sean, you got to deal with that.
I guess.
You gonna have to deal with that.
But then
Because we paid him first.
But there's also the whole, I'll say, politics of it. Russ wasn't getting along with people until the end of the last season.
It was probably,
it was
okay.
It was a lot of, I'll say, internal non-football stuff that just kind of built up and led to this team kind of ending up where they were.
Mm-hmm.
There were some light spots when we started winning again, and I think last time I was on here, I was like, if the Bills lose to the Broncos, then the Bills aren't that team. And then for some fucking reason, they won.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how the Broncos won and they kept winning because it wasn't impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say it wasn't impressive. It was surprising that they were able to pull together even a little bit to be able to put together the games that they did.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, looking at the numbers, looking at everything, I did not see that as long lasting.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up proving myself true because then they fall off a ship again.
Mm-hmm.
And then they fell off a ship again.
There you go.
Man, you completely side-eyed me with the whole camera thing.
Listen, listen. I'm just telling you, you gotta sometimes look over there. I ain't saying you gotta look over there all the time, but
Yeah.
sometimes you gotta look.
But I
The
think
people need to see your face now. There,
yeah.
they need to see the soulless ginger that reigns supreme.
If I go like this, they can't tell.
Well, also your mic's also gonna be, you know what I mean? So
No, I know. I could have been clean shaven and I would have been able to blend in with you soul people.
Damn, soul people.
Oh, that might come out wrong.
Yeah, I
you
was
people
say-
with souls
yeah.
as being someone that doesn't have one because of my gingerness.
Derek's views are of his own. Listen, Derek's views are of his own.
Please invite me back.
Yeah, no. I'm not gonna cancel for you. Yeah, listen, I am not Kanye West. I cannot afford a cancel.
But I personally want to invest more in Sean Payton because I like maybe it's more I have to, but I do believe he is a great coach. He is one of the great coaches. Because even after Drew Brees, he was rebuilding and getting that team better before he left. You know, that team did make the playoffs, and they were a competitive team. They were getting there. So I have to trust the process. And if that process does not have Russell Wilson involved,
but this is the same thing. This is the same thing we were discussing in the car, right? And that was all right. I get it. What he did with Drew Brees, he got a ring, especially after Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah,
very important, very monumental, and that cannot be overlooked. But you won it with Drew Brees that year. All right.
Yeah.
That is a remarkable accomplishment, right? Now, what happened after?
The
financial hell.
Okay. Yeah.
Financial hell for the Saints.
The team went through financial hell, and they stunk for a few years.
Then they went back to the playoff, but then didn't do nothing.
But then, then they slowly built back up, and then they hit the playoffs a few times. See, and then Sean Payton left the team.
See, but Sean Payton is getting closer and closer to that Belichick. To where, because here's the thing, a lot of people forget the first year. I think after Tom left, did they make the playoffs?
I don't remember.
I'm trying to.
I know Mac Jones had a Pro Bowl career, but I'm not sure.
What was that? That was 2019, right? 2019 season, was it?
I don't remember.
Or 20.
I try not to think about the Patriots.
Yeah, they was giving me out at work sometime.
Sometimes, like every year.
Listen, and
you don't remember what the Patriots did to Tim Tebow? They ruined him. They didn't ruin him.
The Steelers also gave him that word too. Tim got it bad from the Steelers that one time too. So, was it the Steelers?
No. Well,
somebody put him through it.
If I'm thinking about the game where Tebow threw the ball to, I believe it was Demaryius Thomas, and they scored a touchdown on, I think it was the first or second play, and it was the first year that was the rule that it was a win.
All right, so sorry. 2020 they were 7-9. Of course, COVID season, so that also messed with a few things.
Was that when Sean Payton was on the team though?
No, I'm talking about the New England.
The Patriots. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So they were 7-9, so they weren't horrible. Now I'm looking at 2021.
7-9 could go either way.
Then in 2021 they were 10-7. Lost to the Bills in the wild card, 17-47.
Yeah. Okay.
He's getting to that Bills territory. So where it was your system worked with a great player, but once that great player left your system, and this applies to numerous coaches, not just him, but once you left that system, what have you done since?
Okay. Sean Payton was able to make Jameis Winston look decent. He made Mr. 30 for 30 look decent and take that team almost to the. I think they made the playoffs that year.
I mean, listen, James Winston. Think about it. The fact he went 30 for 30 was an accomplishment. It was an accomplishment. It was an accolade and also a disrespect.
Yeah, it's a mix. Yeah.
So at the same time, going 30 for 30 just means he's able to score touchdowns and throw picks.
Yeah.
So I would say that James Winston was a below average QB because he could still get you some touchdowns.
Yeah, he
wasn't no Zach Wilson.
He made a below average QB look
average.
Look average, yeah. That in itself is fairly an accomplishment.
But I think if you put Drew Brees with any coach outside of him, he's still great. I don't think I don't think he would ever drop the very good because like we were saying in the car, if there's the Tom Brady's, the Peyton Mannings who are known to be accuracy kings, and people who are very IQ centric, who will nickel and dime you to the point where there's nothing, to where you don't even have time to score because they've run the clock down so much on you.
Yeah, they dissect you.
Yeah, and then you have the Aaron Rodgers. Who else did we say? Aaron Rodgers. There was somebody else.
Tom Brady.
Michael Phelps.
Michael Vick.
Yeah, Michael Vick. There you go, Michael Phelps. Michael Vick, who can throw the shit out of a ball and who have more overall talent, but aren't as talented as those guys. He's kind of the balance. He couldn't scramble, but he could throw the shit out that ball.
Yeah.
And he could be very accurate he is the perfect combination of all of them. It's just that his team met a lot of unfortunate circumstances a lot going into the playoffs with him behind that help.
Yeah.
Fumbles, balls being intercepted, balls being knocked into the air, unfortunately, and then being picked off. Like I said, so I just think that Peyton's getting into that realm of you're a okay coach, but when we see you on other teams, same thing with Bill Belichick with the Jets or with the Browns, when you're on other teams, the waters get a little rough.
I think especially since last year was his first year on the team, I think this year is definitely a proving year. Between
now this is on record now, so if 2 years from now, the Broncos fans gonna pull up on you and say, "What was you talking?"
What I'm saying is like between, I would say he needs 2 more years to have a concrete answer of where he is as a head coach. Right now we are deconstructing everything. Like we have some pieces in the wide receiver room still. Cortland Sutton stuck around. Tim Patrick, if he's healthy, would stick around. I forget, is it Marvin Mims? There's a few rookies that had some decent performances last year. But other than that, we're ground level. So this year I'm not looking forward to anything. So if we get 8-8 or 8-9, 9-8, that would be awesome. Especially taking into account we play the Chiefs twice a year.
But I feel like like I said, like you are correct. He is only a year there, so he does need more time to develop the system. We see this in college all the times. Coaches often stay 4 or 5 years because the first 3 years they're still getting the right players, they're still getting the right pieces around them.
You're still building a program.
Yeah, you're still building the program. This is the NFL. You only got 2-3 years as a coach before they will terminate you.
Yeah, that's why I said like another 2 years. This year he's building. Next year it should be something. I need to see something in 2 years.
In that regard, I would say there's been a lot of cases of that happening. We've seen that with the Patriots, even with my own Giants, Jets. There's always cream that rises to the top. But if by the end of the day, if the only thing that's good about it is the cream at the top and the rest is still shit, it's still shit.
Oh, 100%.
So, like I said, Bill, we gotta see how what's his face drafts. And mind you, he might not even be the guy that's drafting. Even though we put the coach behind the draft, it could be somebody else. It could be the GM that's saying, no, we're getting this guy, or the owner could be, which we will talk about the Cowboys. It could be the owner saying, oh, I want this guy regardless of what you say. But at the same time, I feel like that could be applied to most coaches, not even legendary. That could be applied to the average coach. Yeah. There's always certain players that just are good. And unfortunately, usually those are the players that when you're cleaning out the house, they go first.
Well, I hope at the very least it's a collaborative effort. Like usually we're not going to have RG3 to Washington.
But be mindful now. Usually, if you're the coach that's cleaning out the house, you also get cleaned out with it. It's very rare that they often keep you.
Yeah, but I think at that point you have to take into account everything else the Broncos have gone through. The Broncos.
They're not trying to hear that. See, but
I think. With the Broncos, you have to take into account we've had since Gary Kubiak, we've had head coach after head coach after head coach, and maybe like, oh, the Vic Fangio defense was great, but other than that, it's just kind of been average to below average.
And also, I feel like sometimes the head coaches get, which it's the same thing with QBs. But sometimes, like, that could have been the defensive coordinator's defense because they do play a part into that. So
it was Coach Fangio's
now, if he's a defensive coach,
he is Vic Fangio.
So that's different. That's different.
He's I think he's the DC either at Miami or he's with the Eagles now. But he was picked up from a defensive coordinator to be the head coach. Through all that progression of all the head coaches that didn't work. And then we had that season, the first season with Russ and Nathaniel Hackett, where we, initially we were like, oh man, this is going to be the turnaround point. And it definitely wasn't, and then we slowly, then we got Sean Payton and he has this horrible situation and he he put together. I think we ended up 8-9.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're looking at the writing on the wall, and it's like, this is the peak. This is where, this is where we hit the wall. We're not going to get that much better than this. And we have a bunch of contracts that are about to expire, or they're not working for us. We got to rebuild, and now we're in year 2 of Sean Payton, where he's picking up more of his guys, or not necessarily his guys like people from the Saints, but his guys like people he wants, people he's looked at, not people that were, he inherited. I liked Jerry Jeudy. I think he was a great receiver. Last year he only had 2 touchdowns, but he did have a good amount of yards, if I remember correctly. But he's not working. We can go to the Browns. We'll get 2 picks. Hope maybe if we're optimistic, we'll pick up someone in those 2 rounds. Get rid of these guys, slowly rebuild, and let's see where we're at in 2 years. Maybe out of nowhere we get a wild card spot because the rest of the AFC takes a huge dump. It's possible. But realistically,
with the Raiders restacking up the way they're restacking, you got the Broncos, you got the Chiefs coming back like a rain out of hell, and then the Chargers just get somebody.
They got Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, so Chargers are trying to make a comeback with the QB that they have. What's his face?
Maybe I'm.
Yeah,
being,
you sound a little real optimistic right now.
Maybe I'm being facetious. Yeah. Maybe that's the right word. But the Chargers are never. The Chargers are never going to be that team.
It's not about being that team. It's about keeping y'all asses out the playoffs.
Sure. Well, at a certain point, it's about winning games.
That is true. It's about winning a championship.
Yes, winning games and then winning the championship.
No, because look at them Cowboys. They win games, but they don't win no championships. Now do that.
Well, they have to win playoff games. Those are still games.
No, I'm saying they won playoff games and then didn't win.
Yeah.
After, getting past the first and second round, second round is where they stop.
Nothing made me a Packers fan more than watching that game. That was great.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie. Part of me, I wanted to text my friend Mac. Shout out to Mac. And while we're doing shout out to good old Kirk Studio. You know what I mean? For the opportunity, much appreciated. But even when the Chargers were their best, whether that's with I forget his name, one of the head coaches that's infamous for never winning a Super Bowl, but was like the best head coach otherwise. I forget his name though. Between his era and the Phillip Rivers era, amazing teams. Like if they had rings, people would be talking about them very differently. But unfortunately, they're the Chargers. So they're just kind of that team. They could have the best team in the NFL and lose in the wild card, or lose Cowboys.
Exactly.
They're Cowboys.
The only difference between the Chargers and the Cowboys in this regard is that the Cowboys have a little bit of proof. In the 90s, and I forget what other Super Bowls beforehand, they have shown that they were that team. Chargers have not done that. I don't think they've been to a Super Bowl even.
I don't think so.
They're just one of those teams.
I will fact check, but I don't think they have been.
I know if they did, it's way before my lifetime. As much respect as I could give Phillip Rivers and
1995.
Yeah. Right before our time.
Yep. Literally.
And they lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got cooked by the 49ers.
Oh, okay. I can't say too much about that. The Broncos are really good at that.
Yeah. So, but listen, your Broncos, they're gonna figure something out. You guys have been in Super Bowls, have won Super Bowls, unlike certain individuals that have been to there and haven't been there since. But now I will go on my unfortunate tirade, my soliloquy that I didn't want to go down, but I had to go down.
I'm so glad it's your turn to go on a rant.
Man, listen. Solo on me, man. I'm tired of this, man. Listen.
I'll just
hold on. But first, I will read the topic. It's gonna be 2. Giants don't offer Saquon a contract. He signs with the Eagles, as we discussed earlier in the show. And Giants signed Drew Lock as well as Tiki fucking what's his face. I don't even care about his last name.
Barber.
Why
do I know that and you don't?
Because I said in the car and then I forgot.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Tiki fucking Barber proceeds to go on a rant about Saquon because he signed with the Eagles, which I get. Saying that Saquon is dead to him. All right, y'all, listen, y'all. First, I'm gonna start off with the first part. What are we doing? I mean, as a franchise, as an organization, as a unit, as a group, as one conglomerate. I can't even speak. Conglomerate. There you go. As one people, as one team. Big Blue. It's the only time I'll ever say Big Blue outside of that. What do we? You guys gave. Let's pull up his contract numbers. I might even have this show up on the screen somewhere. DJ contract. I meant it literally pulled up a DJ's contract. Yeah,
like Uncle Magic or something.
Yes. You guys signed this man to a $160 million contract, $160 million extension for 4 years. $82 million fully guaranteed, and up to $35 million in available incentives.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when this contract first happened, do you know how many of my fellow Giants? It's not that bad, Huey. It's not that bad. We had no other choice. What were we supposed to do in the everybody was getting paid. Everybody. Listen, Shannon Sharp once said, there's always somebody that you can pay for that you can pay less that can do the exact same thing he did. There's always the $5,000 escort that you gotta fly out to, you gotta get them the hotel, and then you take them to do what you about to do at the late night. And then there's always gonna be that woman that you drive, I'm not gonna say where, that you drive into the city, you go to a certain area, give them that $55 to $100, they put that work in.
Mm-hmm.
We got the escort, who's not even an escort. You pay for everything, give them the meal, you give them the clothes, and then you send them back on a flight to fucking Chicago or something. You don't get no action. You get bare minimum. Is this what we're doing as a franchise? Here's the thing. You know, when I was discussing to Derrick about this whole thing on the phone, right? And I brought up, right, this very key, very important component. DJ does not get that bag if Saquon does not have that year he has. He does not reach the playoffs if Saquon does not do what he does. So we paid for somebody to which we thought was going to knock our doors off. As much as the Bull was his, he's worth it. I understand. The Bulls was the hype man. Back in the 90s and early 2000s, we had the artist, the rapper, rapping, and then you had the DJ, yeah, stand up, blah, 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 the hype man, right? I get that. But we essentially paid somebody to come onto our team for 4 years. Now, that line is mediocre. Let's be fair to him. The line is trash. He barely had 2 seconds to get that ball off. I think it's a minimum 3 to 4 seconds in the league that you have. You pretty much found a way to make the person we had go from this $2,000 escort to a hoe on the street. He was getting lit up. Like, everybody was getting hands on him. I mean, and then you franchise tag Saquon, get him mad, get him all riled up. Then he comes back. To be fair, he does get hurt. Comes back, plays his ass off, then gets hurt again. And I don't blame him for not wanting to come back. I wouldn't come back either. Then you don't give him a contract. And then he goes to a fellow rival in the same division.
Mm-hmm.
Because y'all just decided not to trade the motherfucker. Is this as a comp? Is this for a 4 Super Bowl team historically? We beat the Patriots twice, beat the Bills. This is what we do now. Like, be honest. Like, what? Like, and people are telling me, "Kid, Huey, you're supposed to be a Giants fan." I'm a Giants fan. I always tell people I can be a fan of something, but my eyes won't deceive me. I'm a Knicks fan. But if you're trying to tell me all those years of the Knicks fans coming in there with paper bags on their heads wasn't warranted, it was. Because I would too. This is so egregious. This is so ridiculous. Mind-boggling. Brain hemorrhaging. Like, I do not understand. And he's laughing because of the pain that I feel. Because I'm trying to remember what else I told you during those texts about the Giants. There was something also that
the only thing that I think you're forgetting is the fact that Daniel Jones was still on his rookie contract.
Yes, that was another thing.
Why would you pay someone more money?
We extended him way earlier because he had one more year.
No, he was on his second year. He still had the fourth year option.
That's what I'm saying.
And the fifth year option.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And they did none of that.
They did none of that and just then extended. Then you have people coming to me, but we had no choice. Once again, I could get me a $300 hole.
I love this example, by the way.
I mean, it's true.
It works.
It does work.
It totally works.
I'm paying. Why would I listen? He can't do nothing by himself. Nobody can in life. But you trade the key component that let him go crazy. Let him have a decent season. Then, Lord have mercy, you bring in Locke, who by no means is, this all-time great. No, he's another average QB who does his job.
He was brought in as a second-string quarterback.
As a second string. But in my eyes, depending on how it goes in that training, in the camp, in the preseason camp, he might win that motherfucker. He just might. And if he wins,
I think the only problem is the fact that you're paying a quarterback $100 million. He has to be starting.
Listen, I don't give a fuck what. He don't have to be starting nothing.
Same thing when RG3 got there with Kirk Cousins.
He don't have to be starting nothing.
RG3 was a first-round draft pick.
I know that.
Kirk Cousins was late.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's I want to say like a political aspect to it. It's like you have to start the first-round pick.
No.
You have to start the $100 million man.
No.
Unless Locke blows Jones out of the water.
No.
Unless he blows him out of the water. If it's like a coin flip or like Drew Lock is a little bit better, you're gonna see
Tyrod, who's now on the Jets, looked better than DJ did.
That team was mangled at that point, yeah.
But he looked better. That mangled unit.
I actually like Tyrod Taylor. I do think he has never gotten a fair shot.
And how much is he getting paid compared to DJ?
Yeah.
I gotta look at your contract. I'm not mad at him getting paid. Let's be very clear. I'm never mad at a player getting a bag. But I gotta look at your contract and what you brought to the field. Yeah. Now his line was abysmal. We can all agree to that. So I cannot say he had this perfect team. He didn't have a Cowboys line. Like he didn't have that. He didn't have.
And I think this offseason they have been baby stepping pieces towards actually making a good line.
Yes. But $180 million for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Then you don't even reach out to give Saquon a contract. Don't even reach out.
There is a chance that they kind of saw the writing on the wall after giving him the franchise tag.
No.
There's a chance.
No. Then it has to get traded him.
Well, that's true. They should have traded him.
If you no longer have faith in this individual player.
Well, no, I'm not saying it's a faith thing. I'm saying
it has to be a faith thing.
I'm saying that the Giants saw that Saquon didn't want to play there anymore, so they just kind of dealt him.
Derrick, we're gonna go back to was it episode 10?
Oh boy,
of the show, right? Listen, if here's the thing about respect, right? If you never send me a deal, I can say I feel disrespected because I never got a deal, right? But if I get a deal in my hand that I feel like is value, there's value to that, and is a okay deal, even if it's not the best deal, the disrespect isn't the same.
Yeah.
That's one. Two, right? This is Saquon Barkley. If you didn't like him like that, trade him. His value, he had value halfway through the season because he had came back and played.
Yeah.
So the value, it's not like as if the value was lost. The value was there.
Now, was he traded or was he cut and then signed?
He wasn't even cut. They let him walk.
Oh, he released and then signed.
He was franchise tagged.
Yeah. I don't think he should have been franchise tagged.
And thirdly, even if let's say he feels disrespected because he got franchise tagged, money talks.
Oh yeah.
Shit. Let's say my boss comes up to me one day, right? Yo, you're a hard worker, blah blah blah. Oh, where? I'm out of here. Fuck you, blah blah blah. A month later, listen, I got this contract. I'm gonna give you like listen, your yearly $200,000 a year. Well, you know what I mean?
Incentives, PTO, yeah.
You get health benefits, blah blah. You know what? That comment wasn't that bad. You know, yeah. maybe I was a little lazy. The attitude changes. Yeah. So and then to add the cherry on the top, to put even more shit on top of the golden bag of shit. Mm-hmm. You got a regular, maybe even not even a black garbage bag, not even what's a brand of garbage bag? Hold on. I gotta look up a brand garbage. Somebody that's not even Glade, somebody that's not even hefty. Tiki fucking Barber comes out of left field. Barkley, you are dead to me. Who is you? Listen, Tiki. When you got traded, we won a Super Bowl. Now, as an athlete, I am more closer to the punter than you are to the top tier athletes. You are a hell of an athlete. You won in life because you made it to the NFL. You got a bag. But when you got traded from the same team you are defending, we won a championship. And then nobody think about your name after.
Regardless of all of that, there is a money aspect to the game.
And you are a former player too.
Yes. As a former player, how do you not recognize that there is a money aspect to the game? You know, he got franchise tagged and then they didn't give him a deal. No shit, he's going to another team. Like you could make a comment that, yeah, it was disrespectful that he went to a rival and this and that. Sure. But the rival wanted to pay him. So he went and got paid. That's how that works.
Now, listen, I want to be clear. As a Giants fan, I am very deeply disappointed that he chose to go to the Eagles out of all the teams. You know, a thug tear goes down my eye.
A thug tear.
Yeah, you know, just one tear out the left.
Yeah. Vacant stare, single tear.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Just a little tear. I am a little hurt, but I get it. I'm not mad at him for doing it. You gotta go where the money wants and where you are wanted, and the Eagles wanted him. But Tiki, who the fuck is you?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is like there's a line, right?
Yeah, even as a Giants fan. What are you talking about?
If a Giants fan, or even Tiki at this point, because I'm assuming he's a Giants fan if he's saying shit like that.
I don't know why. The second you got traded,
yeah,
you don't even get the ring.
But to be like, oh man,
imagine that, Derrick. Imagine you're a Broncos guy, right? You get traded off the Broncos, then they win without you.
Yeah, that'd be great. But I'm also,
but you don't get
fan.
the ring.
Yeah,
you don't get the ring, and you might be a little salty because you like, damn. So I left and y'all win.
I think at that point, after living just such a normal life and then being in the NFL, I would just be happy to have money.
Yeah, but that's how you think because you're not there. But if you reach the pinnacle, you've been to the top.
Yeah, exactly.
So now being at that pinnacle, now you realize you reached the top of what's like a hill on or a mountain on Long Island. Not a mountain, but like a very high peak. I just can't remember the name of it.
Is it Pikes Peak? Or is that an actual mountain?
No.
I don't actually know then. I know there's a highest point in
I just can't
Long
remember.
Island.
But that'd be like reaching the highest point of Long Island and saying, yes, I did it. And then you look to your left and then you see Mount Everest.
Yeah.
Like there's another peak, which is the NFL peak. Mm-hmm. Tiki. Like, dog, you acted like this franchise tagged you, put you into their organization. They ain't do none of that. They let you go. Mm-hmm. They traded you. And then unfortunately, or fortunately, they got a ring. Bro, take you and your ass somewhere else. There's no reason, especially when you're talking to the man that arguably was one of the main reasons as to why we made the playoffs in 2022. And yet he didn't get paid.
Yeah.
And people told me, Huey, you got to understand it. It's a QB game. It is a QB game. But here's the thing, right? Here's the very good thing. I can always find somebody that does the exact same thing DJ did this season for less. Like I said, it's like getting an escort. You fly out from Texas to New York, do all that shit. Fly her out, take her shopping, take her get some food. You go watch a movie. And then after all that, and you know what the end goal is, you let her go back on that flight and then fly back and you don't get no cheeks at the end of it. When you could have went to the Bronx, Brooklyn, certain aspects, certain areas, got you for
would
some.
know, right?
No. Got you some for you trying to get me caught up. And then paying $50 to $200 for the same thing in your car. In your Nissan. Or in your Honda. Whatever car you drive. Getting the same thing that you could have got in half the time for less money. There's always somebody that can do something worse for cheaper. But next, I want to stay in the NFC East. We will get to Derrick Henry to Baltimore and to Kansas City. That's probably where we will probably have to wrap up. But the Cowboys all in, right? And you know, Cowboys fans, listen here. I can't remember what his name was or who he was, but there was somebody that described the Houston Texans environment versus the Cowboys environment. I'm trying to remember what his name was. Cowboys tight end that left.
From the Cowboys?
Yeah. He left recently. Oh, I just can't remember his name. Cowboy to Texans. I'm trying to find him so I can. Schultz? Yeah. Tight end Dalton Schultz.
Yep.
He said that this is in the locker room and the gym room, or maybe not the locker room, but probably the weight room. Mm-hmm. He said there are windows that camera people, fans can look into and see you working out.
Nope.
Now we do know that the Bengals, they are over an overpass, so fans watch them on the practice field. But they're not in the locker room.
No.
They're not in the weight room. And he said it's like this in multiple parts of
the facility.
Yes. Yeah. Listen, if I'm the Texans, shit, I'm saying right now,
if you're the Cowboys.
No, if I'm the Texans.
Oh, they do that at the Texans?
No, they don't do that at the Texans.
Okay.
He was comparing the Cowboys versus the Texans.
Yeah.
The Texans are very football first, or they don't have all that other shit. They don't have all the press and stuff on them. So he said he preferred it. I said, hey, I'm pulling a Suge Knight. Hey, if in the early in the 2000s, Derrick, you might not know about this moment.
I'm a little too white for this. I'm sorry.
Yeah, listen, you know when Suge was at some award, I can't remember if it was VMAs, Grammys or not. but this is when the East Coast versus West Coast beef was still going on.
Oh, okay.
He went up and he was talking about Diddy, Biggie, and all them. He said, if you don't want your manager to be in the videos, to be in the studios, constantly taking up all the spotlight, a certain Jerry, come to death row. If I'm Houston, hey, if you don't want the owner to be up in the cameras, to be talking about how about them Cowboys, constantly having cameras in your locker rooms and fitting rooms, come to the Texans. We don't do that.
It is crazy how
that's fucking stupid.
It took like 2 years for the Texans to completely turn around from Bill O'Brien. Like,
now, to be fair though, I wouldn't use that as a reason though.
Well, no,
I think I know where you're going next.
That whole era, you know, whether it was Deshaun Watson sitting out for a year, Bill O'Brien just as a person, there was a negative perception of that team. You know, and then actually no, it was only really a year. They got rid of Watson. They got, I forget his name, the rookie quarterback. CJ Stroud. Okay, yeah. They picked up Stroud. They got DeMeco Ryans as their head coach, who used to play for the Texans during that awful period that they were in.
Raiders and I think Raiders have the same coaching setup too, because I think what's his face also played for the Raiders.
Yeah, they still have to prove it though. You know, DeMeco Ryans last year proved that like we're gonna be here for a while. You know, we're, you know, even at, you know, they had a bunch of young guys, a bunch of rookies. They still showed that they're a team, you know, and they're at the point where they can start just adding pieces to the puzzle instead of blowing it up or having to do a lot of work. They're one of those teams right now. 2 years ago, that was not the case. You know, 2 years ago, it was, oh, do you want to be on this team where
they suck all the time?
Yeah, we suck all the time. The years we were good were under Mr. Massage, which, you know, certain people really don't like. We had the head coach GM situation with a head coach GM that isn't doing either correctly. Trading away all the valuable pieces at the same time. I forget which wide receivers they were. You know who I'm talking about.
He's with the Titans now. I know he was on the Cardinals at one point too. I just can't remember his name. Hold on, let me look him up.
But you know, getting rid of all the talent that you were looking at while the team was so bad.
Hopkins.
Yep. You know, getting rid of Hopkins and doing all this stuff, and then slowly, you know, kind of ruining the team in some way. And then bouncing back in a year. That's insane. The whole perception of the franchise changed like overnight. And that's one of the teams between them, you know, probably the Lions, just teams that I love to watch because of what they were able to do in such a short period of time and how they're still, you know, year to year progressing as a team. Yeah.
Listen, I mean, all I can say is this: for a team that's all in, they haven't done a damn thing. We're still waiting to see how much they're paying for Micah. We still don't know that. We still don't know how much they're paying for what's his face, the wide receiver.
CD.
CD. We also don't know how much they're paying for their QB. I think last playoff. The first round game they had against the Packers, I think took some of that money off that they were going to give him. But apparently he's still asking for $40 to $60 million a year. So that's what he's asking for. But either way, Cowboys, listen, the Broncos and the Giants could blow up right now, rebuild, and I would still be more confident in us reaching the Super Bowls before y'all do. I mean,
yeah.
This is starting. People are now starting to look at the ownership now. Jerry, they're starting to be like, all right, maybe he has a little bit too much control. Maybe you got to rein back.
I think I was telling you that before. The problem with the Cowboys is the owner is the GM.
Yeah.
That, like, I've seen Coach GM, like, that worked with the Patriots for a while.
Yeah, but you got to be careful.
Yeah.
You got to be careful.
And even that doesn't work sometimes. But when you're an owner, that usually means you got your money from somewhere else, not from football.
And listen, I get it. He's from the Al Davis with the Raiders, with him being heavily involved. So that's where he takes his inspiration from. That's also as to why the Cowboys are one of the most profitable sports teams in general.
Yeah.
At least in the U.S., once you start talking about European football, it becomes very diluted because they don't have a cap limit. So it's all about how much money you have. But, you know, so it has worked. But think about it. The last time they won a Super Bowl was, he said he would give up everything. He wouldn't win no more Super Bowls if he won this one Super Bowl. He wins that Super Bowl. It hasn't been back since. Yeah. And it's all because of pride and ego. Because he wanted more credit for building that team. So he gave up on what's-his-face, the coach at that time.
Oh, yeah. I forget his name.
Which had a very passionate speech when it was Cowboys versus Packers. I don't know if you saw that speech that he did. He was saying, if I were you at some point, I would watch it because what's his face off the Giants was like, I'm ready to go play right now. Sub me in, coach. Put me in right now. I'm ready to go do that for you.
Strahan?
Yeah.
Okay.
So listen, Cowboys, y'all just the Cowboys. It's at this point, it feels like it's, unfortunately, as Stephen A. Smith always says, an accident waiting to happen. You are. Now, if y'all want to send us Micah or CD, we'll take them. You know, yeah. Even though a lot of times there's very rarely ever interconference trading, especially when it's the NFC East, who are known to be very much bad-blooded against each other. But if CD wants to walk and, you know, my Giant want to take him up a little something, we'll take him right. We'll take him. I mean, CD come through. You know what I mean? As long as you're Cowboys, it's fuck you, though. But, you know, just listen, the Cowboys, all in what? All in on being the same franchise. You guys have been competing since 20, I want to say,
well, since like Tony Romo, they were competing.
That's what I'm saying. So what was that? Late to 2000s into the 2010s?
Forever.
Yeah.
They've always been the best team.
Every year.
And then slowly and surely they fall apart. I'm
not gonna say who it was, but a certain individual said they were the best team in the NFL. Who was that? What was it? What's his face? It is what it is. I can't remember his name though. OJ, they are the best team in the NFL. Now OJ consistently flip-flops between that and the Bills. Yeah. And his 49ers. But he said, yeah, they are the best overall team. The Cowboys, the best. Got that ass smoked. Pause. Smoked by the Packers. So getting off the NFC East now. We're probably gonna wrap it up with these two. I don't think Belichick is returning this season. So no. If anything, he would become like Mike Veraball, which is a consultant, which I was very surprised that happened. But Kansas City. Oh, sorry, Derrick Henry to Baltimore.
Huge, yeah,
huge. But he has to stay healthy.
That whole team has that problem.
He has to stay healthy.
The Ravens, from what I've seen,
Lamar can stay healthy now because he's not running out the pocket as much.
Whoever it is, whenever it is.
OBJ is usually somewhat. Yeah. I mean, OBJ is not on the team anymore.
The general issue with the Ravens that I've seen is they just cannot stay healthy. For whatever reason, whether it's Lamar, whether it's OBJ, someone's getting hurt. And then they do their damnedest to try to, keep competitive.
Yeah, to hold until they come back.
But it always collapses at the end, and it's always disappointing to see. Because I do like them as a team. They're very fun to watch. But when everything falls apart, you can hold up in the regular season, but now you're playing against all the playoff teams that have proven that they're playoff teams. I just don't think that holds up after that point. You know, you have to get those guys back after then. But Derrick Henry, if he's healthy, is going to transform that team.
It is huge, especially since, you know, now that run option. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. And I feel bad for what's that cornerback that kept getting into it with Odell.
Oh.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to remember his name. I just can't remember his name.
I don't remember. I remember because he was on the Panthers.
Yeah. Yep.
Had it out with OBJ, and then got traded to the Commanders of all teams.
Josh Norman. Yep. Josh Norman better hope that he don't see him again, because he's been stiffed armed by him. I would never forget that stiff arm that I saw to where he sent him like 5 yards down the other way.
I didn't even know he was still playing.
He might be. I think, isn't he on the he might actually be on Kansas City.
No way.
Or oh wait, he might have. Nope, he's a free agent. But at one point, he was on a winning team. I just can't remember what team he last left. Hold on, here we go.
I'm not sure.
So Washington. Bills. That's who it was.
Oh, okay.
That's why I thought Kansas City, because I think I saw him play.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But like I said, Derrick Henry, you can be very important, but you got to stay healthy. And some of those wide receivers, their numbers are going to drop.
Oh, 100%.
Because that team was, think about it when they had that run option before. Now it's even better. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure who their previous running back was or who was in the running back room before. But whoever it is, it wasn't Derrick Henry.
No.
And the running game, from what I saw, you know, going back before last year or maybe a couple years, the run game was Lamar Jackson. Now the run game is Derrick Henry.
And now you have Lamar, who can run and who's getting more confident with his arm.
Exactly. So you have Lamar. He's got the arm now. He's got his legs now. But he also has the option of one of the best running backs in the game right now. That team, on paper, should win the Super Bowl.
It should. But we shall see if they do win the Super Bowl. Like I said, Kansas City put them boys in a chokehold. Yeah, well, yeah. But Kansas City put a lot of people in the chokehold. So, and I didn't think they was going to win it all. I ain't going to lie.
They're officially a dynasty.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that.
I mean, you better hope they don't three-peat.
Would they be the first three-peat?
Yeah.
Okay.
They would be the first ever team to ever Let's Google before I get messages. He's not. My team's the first.
I would think it would probably be.
Oh nope! Since the start of the Super Bowl in 1967, there has been no three-peats.
Okay.
There's been players to win 3, but not in a row. Yeah. So Tom Brady, of course, run 2, lost 1, and then won it again. But now that we're speaking on Kansas City, as this will probably be the last topic, as we are running out of time.
Didn't they pick up like Hollywood Brown or something?
They picked him up, and listen, right? This is not really a rant, but there has to be some. We can't keep reconstructing contracts. Nah, I'm not.
I can't say too much because the Broncos just did way too much of that.
There has to be a limit, because I'm tired of him taking less money so his team's better. No, accept the money. Don't take the check back. I'm tired of that. And it's kind of funny that I'm saying the opposite as to what I was saying for Saquon Barkley. Nah, keep the check. I need your team to get worse. I'm tired of you winning, bitch. I'm tired. I don't need no three-peat. I don't need it. I want my Giants to be the first. I don't need no three-peat.
I think it's really funny. The Chiefs had objectively their worst season
and still won.
And they still won. And it was also their most popular season because of the whole Taylor Swift stuff.
That was nothing. Listen, there's a reason as to why there wasn't a Super Bowl episode. I was fed up. I was like, there's only so much I could say. You know, you had the Swifties going crazy. You know what I mean? Saying then you also got Travis Kelce and his podcast, you know, with his brother. So he went on there. And then, of course, you got good old Patty Mahomes with his dad bod flexing with beer in his hand, walking around talking about there could be another one. Now, I will say this. My condolences to the shooting that happened at that event.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to all
100%.
those who were killed. Cause I think there was 1 or 2 people that died.
Yeah.
So that is a sad thing that unfortunately happened during an event that should be celebrated. Unless you're a fellow fan of another team, then you are quietly depressed because you know that this is gonna go on for a little bit. This is not gonna be the last.
I thought it was over with the Patriots, and now it's even closer. That is the most upsetting part.
Now you know how a lot of NBA fans felt when the Warriors lost in 2016. They said, all right, well, they lost something.
Yeah.
So there's a chance. And then they got KD. And then KD came right, and then everyone's like, oh, it's over.
Well, the past like 3 or 4 years, it's like, oh, we're going to get rid of Tyreek Hill. Oh, now we got this guy that's going to play amazing. And then they got rid of that guy, Juju Smith-Schuster.
Mm-hmm.
He played really well for the Chiefs. He wasn't as good as Tyreek,
Mm-hmm.
but he was still, he was still decent. He
Competent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They get rid of him, and then they signed, I forget who they signed, but then they got rid of him. Now they have Hollywood Brown. It's like, stop letting them go to the Chiefs. Let the Chiefs lose. Please listen to me.
Nah, that's crazy.
Let the team suck. Andy Reid, retire. Enjoy the rest of your life. Please. As a fan of the sport.
As a fan of sports, wow.
I am sick of these tyrants taking over and winning Super Bowls, maybe not 3 in a row, but year after year after year. They are just that team, and they ruin it for everyone else.
They got y'all in the mash a lot.
Yeah.
They got y'all.
Well, we had the Patriots in the AFC forever.
Did you watch WWE?
Yeah.
What's this? You remember the Mash a Lot challenge? That John Cena. You remember that?
No.
The Mash a Lot challenge? Hold on. Let me see if I can find the wrestler's name.
I just don't. In general, I don't like those teams. That's why I stopped watching the Yankees.
With Chris Masters.
Oh, that was before I was watching.
Oh, okay, yeah. They got y'all in that massive lot challenge. They got you they got y'all choking out right now in the AFC West, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, it wasn't the AFC West back when it was the Patriots. It was just the AFC in general.
Mm-hmm.
So you would, whether it was the Chargers when they hit the playoffs, or the Broncos, or if the Raiders made it, I'm not sure. I know the Chiefs weren't good at the time, or any other AFC team at that matter. You would be losing to the Patriots.
Also, did you hear that the league? This is something that I forgot to put on there. That the league is trying to make it 18 games now.
Why?
Trying to make it more.
Too many.
Trying to get more money.
They would have to do a lot of other things to add that
First
extra
of all,
game.
Those locker rooms gonna get expanded like a motherfucker.
Yes.
All those people getting hurt.
Which they have been taking the right steps.
Mm-hmm.
Allowing a third quarterback, which is a dumb rule in the first place. If you have issues with the quarterback room getting hurt all the time, you should be able to have.
You should be able to bring as many quarterbacks as you need.
Yeah.
Like that's just. Hold on, let me see. NFL expanding to more games. Yep, the push for 18 regular season games in the NFL hasn't been abandoned, according to Mike. I'm just gonna say Mike off of NBCSports.com.
Fair.
I can't say that last name. I'm not gonna try. But back to the original point. You can't keep restructuring. Take the money. I think after a while there has to be a law that says, "Hey, you can't restructure." like.
You mean like a limit of how many times you can restructure?
Yeah,
I could see that.
Because listen, your team has to start getting worse. I'm hating. I know I am.
No,
but you can't stay great because you keep restructuring.
The Chiefs are officially that team. It was the Patriots. At one place in time, it was
Tom
the Cowboys.
Brady was restructuring like crazy during the Patriots.
At one point in time, it was the Cowboys or the Steelers, or
You remember his wife,
Giselle?
She was making more money than he was. That's why that's why he could keep restructuring.
Yep.
I said shit. I mean, we saw how that ended, but I don't. She asked for him to leave the game, so it is what it is now. But You know, it is the Patriots. I'm trying to think who else has been there. Patriots are the main ones that did it a lot.
Yeah. I mean, there's some that were kind of, there's always 49ers, Cowboys.
49ers, yeah.
The amount of Super Bowls.
But those are hometown discounts. Those aren't restructures.
Oh, no. Yeah, I'm just saying dynasties.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that the Broncos have lost multiple Super Bowls to the same people, I think we lost to the Giants once. But then Cowboys and...
That was years ago, though.
Oh, yeah.
You don't count that. You don't count that.
Throughout time, I think they lost twice to the... I think it was twice to the Cowboys and then twice to the San Fran. Or no, that's too many then. I know they lost twice to San Fran. Which it's impressive that they made it there. But still, I don't like dynasties as a whole generic statement. If the Broncos become a dynasty, I've been a fan of them long enough to where I would just accept it and live in bliss. That's fine. But it's not my team, so I hate them.
That's crazy.
I despise them.
That's crazy.
And
also, what I meant to bring up, because we do have to start wrapping up, but what I meant to bring up was a host that I'm not gonna say their names, but I have gotten on her for this. The job that I work at. There's this lady, very nice woman, very nice older woman. She's a attorney general. She lives in Denver.
Okay.
That is out. Grew up she went back and forth between Kansas City and San Fran. Right? So when I asked her who she was picking for the Super Bowl, guess what she looked at me and said?
San Fran?
No. She said, well, I love Denver, so I want the Broncos to be in it, but I'm going with Kansas City. I said, hold on, time out.
No.
You can't be a Broncos fan and go for Kansas City.
No.
I said, now you're just two-timing.
It's a different statement saying, like, yeah, I think the Chiefs are going to win it again. Because that's believable. But saying you want them to win? No.
She said, it doesn't really matter to me who wins, but because I grew up in Kansas City, I have memories in Kansas City. I have no problem with Kansas. I said, if you were a Broncos fan, you're not saying that.
No.
And I think I told her, if my boy, who's a Broncos fan, heard you say that, he would crucify you and say you're not a Broncos fan.
There was a guy, I eat lunch with him in the break room, and he's like, I'm a Dolphins fan, but like, I could see myself rooting for the Raiders.
That's not how that shit works.
What?
That's not how that shit works.
What do you say? Like,
that's not how that works.
No. Well, at least for him, it was like, oh, it's just another AFC team. But he's sitting right next to a Broncos fan.
That's not how it works.
Like...
That'd be like me saying, oh, I'm a Giants fan, but the Cowboys got to the Super Bowl, I would root for them. What?
No.
Even when the Eagles win the Super Bowl, and it was against the Patriots, I was like, I have nobody that I want. There's nobody that I want to win.
See,
Who I think is going to win is something different.
I think then, like, if there was an NFC equivalent, like, for example, let's say the Packers became a dynasty, and then it was them against the Raiders. I think I would walk away rooting for the Raiders, specifically because it's not the dynasty. It does mean that the Raiders probably beat the Broncos twice, and maybe in the playoffs. But at the same time, taking down the dynasty is more important, especially since I believe their first ring. I would rather see the Chargers win their first ring over someone else get their 7th or 8th,
Well, I think that's how a lot of people. That's why I wasn't mad when the Eagles got it, because it was their first.
Yeah,
but I don't want you to get another one.
At the same time, definitely.
I don't want you to get another one. But we do have to start wrapping up here because it is 12:30. But as we are wrapping up, like I said, shout out to Kirkfoot Studios.
Always.
MVP GOATs. If you want to do your own podcast, make some music, hit my boy Kirk or my boy Roman up. He will get you right. Podcast, as you can see, we got that fire. And of course, I want to say this. Aaron McDonald's retiring. Congrats to him. Hell of a year. That boy was fighting triple teams his whole life. Pause.
Aaron Donald.
Aaron Rodgers.
You don't work in fast food.
You're right. Aaron McDonald. And Yeah, and I will end it up with this because I went on that Giants rant. To any Jets fans that says anything to me about anything, and I sincerely say anything, you have a 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers, or 41 almost, damn near, who's coming off a torn Achilles, playing on that broken ass field that the Giants and Jets both play on, who's been notorious for blowing out ACLs and Achilles. That's one. And second of all, your guys' green is the same exact color as my shit looks when I have diarrhea. So y'all can't say nothing to me. Can't say nothing to me.
That's petty.
And if you do say something to me, I only got one action. 4-1. 4 in 2012 was the last one, I believe. And 07, I believe, either 06 or 07. 2012 and 07. The last time y'all won it was a sex year, 1969.
That makes it cooler.
No, it's 2024. Y'all last won it when my grandpa was still running amok. Think about that. And on that note, thank you for watching The Huey Show. Like, comment, and subscribe. Like I said, check out Kirk Studios for any podcast, audio work, whatever you need. My boy Roman will get you right. Appreciate my boy Derrick for showing up and showing out.
Oh, it was great to be here.
Of course, the soulless entity that he is, he showed up. And expect some more of these. I don't know if Derrick's going to be always available. This was, like I said, a last minute thing. Mm-hmm. But like I said before, and we will see y'all when we see y'all. Deuces. Woo!